Morning, guys. Welcome to Coffee Chat. Boy, I'll tell you what, it is such an amazing morning. I know it's foggy out here, but the air just smells so clean. It is something else. I can smell a lot of the pine or, the evergreen, smell in the air. And I actually have a few evergreens on the property here. And by the way, the buds are coming up on all the trees here. So before long, it's all going to fill out and it's going to be absolutely something beautiful. It is really nice when the trees get filled with their leaves. So looking forward to that. Well, anyway, guys, reading two articles today, and the first one had to do with the war against the U.S. buck, and according to this article, that war is already over. All we're doing is sitting in the ICU waiting for the buck to die. And the reason why they believe that is that because all of these other nation states around the world, and especially that deal with Saudi Arabia there, where they've turned around and said, hey, look, we're willing to sell our oil in alternate currencies. Now, we haven't felt the shocks of that yet. But the petrodollar and its demise is going to really impact the West in a big, big way. And of course, you've got BRICS nations establishing their CBDC type system and their distributed ledger technology system so that they can circumvent a lot of the sanctions that the West has been able to put on them in the past. And that is going to cause a geopolitical shift in a massive, massive way. Then, I just saw an article there of the amount of hardware that is sitting, military hardware sitting in the ports over there in, I think it's outside of Poland. Just an amazing amount of U.S. military hardware. Guys, look, we have seen things go down this road before when the U.S. dollar has been challenged in a big way. And I don't know how it's going to all play out, but I'm telling you what, I think we're going to see a major, major financial shift. And having said that, recent article that I was reading on the ISO 222 messaging standard, they have bumped that up to full implementation come June of 2023, according to this article. And on top of that, moving it 2 years in advance because they were supposed to have the whole thing in line by 2025. So we're going to see just how this is all going to play out. But I'm telling you what, it is a major, major deal when you're seeing the demise of the petrodollar, and they've got to be implementing a change and soon in order to combat that. Because look, guys, this financial system globally as what has been tying, the powers that be in those positions where they could influence all these political maneuvers around the world. And with that actually being choked off and those sanctions having no more effect, big, big changes are coming there, that's for sure. Well, on the lighter side, in a way, the second article that I was reading has to do with Porsche and Ferrari. And these guys are fighting back on this whole electric vehicle system, but how they're doing it is really quite amazing. In fact, they're in the process of developing e-fuels. Now, e-fuels, interestingly enough, the way in which they put them together, and I was reading in the article, it's hard for me to kind of understand it because I'm not a chemist or anything like that, but maybe some of you out there that understand chemistry really well will understand this. But basically, what they do is they combined, spent fuels with some other processed hydrocarbons or something like that, and they create a fuel that can be burned that has practically zero emissions but allows for combustion engines. And the reason why they're doing it is because, hey, they're saying, who wants to drive a Porsche when you can't hear those twin turbos, going off and stuff like that? And I was thinking about this space because, hey, everybody wants their Lambo, right? Well, or their high fashion sports car. That's a big goal for a lot of the folks in this space when they actually, see those amazing gains. They want to buy Porsches, Ferraris, Lambos. Well, you don't want to buy one of those and hear a vacuum cleaner humming of an engine. You want to feel some horsepower coming out of that, right? I mean, when you tap that pedal, you want to hear, or well, that's just my way of doing it, but you know what I mean, right? An amazing sound, and it is a big, big deal. And so, guys, it's really interesting to see this kind of pushback, and I really hope they come out with this innovation. Now, they say they should have a really excellent product to deliver by 2035 with e-fuels, and that is going to be a massive, massive deal. But of course, you have people opposing it, that they want us to go all electric. Now, to me, I think that this whole thing, how's the electricity produced, guys? I mean, it's either going to be through hydropower, or it's either going to be through nuclear power. It's going to be through something. And look, way back when in the turn of the century, where they were running out of a shortage of whale blubber, that was the, not the turn of this last century, of course, but the turn of the 19th century, that was their, fuel of choice. And there was a big shortage on that. Well, what ended up happening? Well, of course, we know that, fossil fuels came into and started rising up like that. And, eventually, of course, that, powered all the vehicles and everything like that, and a real great powerhouse for industry, of course. Well, there were always going to be some sort of, sidelines. Do you think that with electric power and all that, there's not going to be any kind of negative consequences for that? Look, it's going to come in a big way. The drain on the system alone, no way. And so then, guys, what are you talking about there? Well, you're probably talking about the reduction of private ownership of vehicles, and it'll be only something that is available for the wealthy or those that can really afford it. It'll be a luxury. And couple that with, of course, all these 15-minute cities. Well, you don't have to have a vehicle because, look, you only can, have to be in a small little space. And realistically, that's just cutting into our liberty, right? In terms of it's not so much that they say, oh, we're going to confine you and make it so that you're kind of in a prison city there type of thing. But if they limit your ability to actually go out there and have that kind of transportation, what does it do? What, are you going to walk 1,000 miles? You're not going to drive cross country? There you go, guys. They've limited your liberty of transportation just by virtue of that. They don't have to take it away from you legislatively. They just take it away from you practically, in that you're not able to even afford a vehicle that could do it for you. That's kind of what I think sometimes is what the agenda is. Who knows? But I'll tell you what, for those of us that are out there and, when you are, plan to actually use some of those gains to get one of these vehicles, if you actually do, it'll be a big plus for us in getting a combustion powered engine that you can actually hear and feel the horsepower behind you. Anyway, that's how I think about it. Well, guys, I sure hope you're having a fantastic day, and wherever you are in the world, I truly hope it's going to be a blessed one for you. I have a great video planned for later on this afternoon. Until then, guys, I sure hope it goes great, and take care.